ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure to introduce to you our singing star, Miss Kitty Reed.
Hello world, this is Miss Kitty Reed. It is October, time for Halloween. We have Joss here in her cute little poodle skirt. We're both sort of anachronistic or somewhat stereotyped girls of America's past. We have our little 50s sock hopper, and I'm a pilgrim. Yes, that's right. Only here on Miss Kitty Reed will you find a Catholic girl dressed as a Puritan. Isn't that fun? But we have cute little poodle skirt right here, and see, Joss has a little poodle on her skirt, and now look, I have a little poodle on my skirt. Well, a half poodle. But who's counting? Today on Miss Kitty Reed, we have a very exciting book, a Harlequin love-inspired book, The Amish Bachelor's Choice by Jocelyn McClay. Ruth Fisher's father has recently died, and even though she is a skilled woodworker, she is forced to sell her father's furniture-making business because women in her Amish community cannot own businesses of this type. The new owner is Malachi Schrock, who moves from Ohio to Wisconsin with his two brothers to run the shop. Ruth hates to see her father's business run by a new owner, but secretly plans to leave for the English world soon anyway. Her father hadn't wanted her to be trapped by Amish life, so made her promise to follow her dreams before he died. Ruth plans to take business courses and become a woodworker elsewhere. To ease her loneliness, Ruth gets a puppy named Rascal. Ruth and Malachi, initially wary of each other due to their rules at work, spend time together. Ruth is independent and speaks her mind, and Malachi is slow and methodical. Neither is looking for romance, but they find themselves drawn to each other. Malachi invites Ruth to help him get some cattle home, and after she loses a shoe chasing after one of the cows, he carries her to her buggy and warms her cold foot in his hands. He drives her home when her horse is out of commission. Ruth doesn't want to fall in love. She doesn't want an Amish husband, as she would have to give up taking her secret correspondence courses and would have to give up woodworking to become a housewife. Then Ruth overhears Malachi's brothers talk of a girl named Leah. Ruth thinks Leah is Malachi's girlfriend in Ohio. Then Leah, on a visit to Malachi's relatives, comes to the shop. Ruth runs off. Malachi had dissuaded her from working on a rocking chair her father had been making for her before he died, and now she sees him taking Leah on a buggy ride. Ruth makes plans to get another woodworking job and leave the Amish. Malachi had only been telling Ruth not to work on the rocking chair because he hated to see her so upset, and though Leah wants Malachi, he wants nothing to do with her. One night, Ruth comes home to find Malachi in her house, sitting in the completed rocking chair. He says he is giving it to her along with his heart. Malachi explains about Leah and has made arrangements with the bishop to allow Ruth to work in a separate building by the furniture store, which will also have space for her to watch their children. They marry, and Ruth will soon need the space for the baby she is carrying. The end. I really love Harlequin Love Inspired. I know, folks, Harlequin gets such a bad rap around here, but it's not that bad. It's honestly, Harlequin Love Inspired books are some of the best Amish books I ever read. I hate to say this about some of the authors that we all love and are so popular, but I'm not here to read Amish books for some literary fiction. I'm not here to read books that think they're going to be the next great American novel or some little chick lit classic or whatever. As good as those are, and people love them, Harlequin Love Inspired is a line just of Christian fiction, so you know that you're not getting some of the more adult, risque situations you're getting in other Harlequin books. However, what you're getting is just a boiled down romance. There's no little subplots and little overarching three-parters with trilogies that have characters and these little dynamics they want to explore in the subplots. No. It's just, oh look, there's two people. Here they interact. Here's them interacting some more. Oh look, they get married. The end. That's all you need. You don't need to complicate it. And Love Inspired is so good at these. Oftentimes you can find authors start out in Harlequin Love Inspired and then they eventually get into other books with a little more ambitious goals. But these are just so good. It's great to see, and it's great to see the Amish line being so popular within this genre, because remember, there's contemporary Christian romance in here as well. And we have the love-inspired suspense, which feature oftentimes Amish characters being chased, hiding, people with the FBI hiding out at the Amish. So if you like Witness, there's plenty of that for you as well. I really liked the little details of this book. Rascal was so adorable. He was just this cute, energetic border collie puppy. Really resonated with me. And Bess, Ruth's horse Bess, was kind of a grumpy horse that didn't want to do anything for her, but it was just a cute little detail that kept you going. It makes you feel part of the story and part of a real community, but you still have the elements that are necessary for a meaningful romance. The relationship between Ruth and Malachi was very compelling. We had Ruth, a very strong, driven person, very outgoing, very willing to make her desires known, and Malachi, a very quiet, slow, methodical person. That obviously makes for an interesting romance. And Ruth is not the typical Amish heroine. I think we're used to in Amish fiction a lot of times having these characters that seem like Ruth and seem a bit more strong-willed or outgoing, but are very willing to shape themselves for their romantic interest. But Ruth really wasn't willing to do that, at least at first. Eventually she discovered that no matter what, she was willing to even give up her love of woodworking for Malachi. But we also discovered through this process that Malachi was willing to go the extra mile to allow Ruth to give that talent to the world, which was very nice. Ruth wanted more, and she was about to get more. She was about to go into the English world, but in the end, she stayed because of Malachi. Interestingly enough, not really because of any particular love for the Amish. There was a very powerful Christian scene at the end where Ruth prayed and finally understood that trying to force her desires to go into the English world and to do what she wanted was not what God wanted, and she had to acquiesce to God's plans to really find fulfillment in her life. It was a very powerful scene. The ending with Ruth and Malachi getting together was very powerful. It was a very satisfying and impactful romance. I think oftentimes the Amish genre doesn't have that because, first of all, we know what's going to happen, right, folks? But also because the love doesn't seem as intense, because obviously it's a Christian romance. They don't want to put any adult things, but this intensity and emotions sometimes is lacking a little bit. Love Inspired or Surprise Gems. You will read the back cover of a Love Inspired and you'll think, okay, I sort of have an idea of where this will go. And it will be the most off-the-wall things. There'll be all these wild subplots and little details. It's just really cute. You never know what you're going to get, and they're oftentimes the most hidden gems of the Amish genre. I really love these books. This is a 7 out of 7, an easy win. This is one of the best Amish books I reviewed on this channel. Please check it out. I love this book, and I really would like to read more from this author, as I kind of get the feeling we're going to have books about Malachi's brothers falling in love as well. Now, I'm addressing some of my fans here. You know who you are. The last book I did ended on a bit of a cliffhanger. We never found out what happened to the kidnapped Amish baby. And I know that was hard. We want some resolution. We want justice, right, folks? Obviously. Mm-hmm. And I understand that. The next book will be The Quilter's Daughter by Wanda Brunstetter. Please check with your local library to read that book. Please hang in there if you can't wait any longer. But remember, this is a trilogy. If you want to find out what happened to Kidnap Zach, you're going to have to wait for The Quilter's Daughter and The Bishop's Daughter. So please be patient, hang in there. I know we all want to know what happens to Zach. But in the meantime, check out the Amish Bachelor's Choice and coming up The Quilter's Daughter. This has been Amish Book Club with Miss Kitty Reed. This is Miss Kitty Reed and Joss in our little Halloween outfits. Joss is going to go to a sock hop, I guess. I guess I'll be in a play of the Crucible. Have a good day, everyone. This is Miss Kitty Reed and Joss signing up. See you next time on Amish Book Club.
Living in the rhythm that I'm speaking of. You'll be happy in your work if you're in love. You'll be happy in your work if you're in love.